It's the stuff of nightmares. Once a year, these creatures are let loose in the quaint village of Heldra, located in the German state of Hesse. The town has a small population of barely 500 people, but it boasts a grand tradition, the straw bear.
Now in the countryside, there's plenty of hay, and today my challenge is to wear a 40-kilo outfit. My outfit of the day is made of hay.
This is what awaits me later. But as an outsider, I'll be the last to get dressed up. Plenty time for a little research at the village museum.
Now, to learn more about the history of this fascinating tradition, I've come to meet two real experts, two of the town's oldest bears. Hallo, ich bin der Max. Hallo, wie geht's? Hallo. Ich würde gerne mal ein bisschen mehr über den Ursprung des Strohbären erfahren. Wie fing das denn alles an, diese Tradition?
Oh, die Tradition als solche, wann sie anfing, das liegt im Dunkeln. Also wir kennen den Strohbärtag seit unserer frühesten Jugend und unsere Eltern kennen auch seit der frühesten Jugend. Also da ist kein Datum festgehalten. Das hat bisher bedeutet und bedeutet immer noch das Winter austreiben.
Das hat man schlichthin gesagt, das Winter austreiben, böse Geister aus dem Dorf vertreiben und so weiter. Die Winterzeit war immer lange dunkel und so weiter.
Ich möchte ja auch Strohbär sein.
Ja.
Und was für eine Tipps hätten Sie denn für mich? Was erwartet mich denn?
Nicht zu trinken.
Viel Pieksen an Haut und Haaren und weiß ich wo. Und viel Durst in der Zeit, wo sie drin sind. Und wenn sie laufen müssen, da gibt es noch mehr Durst. Das wird sehr schweißtreibend, weil das Stroh ist auch gar nicht so leicht. Also 20 Kilo müssen sie mindestens schleppen.
Okay.
Ja.
Quite a lot to handle then. The amount of straw left over from the winter determines the number of bears. This year it will be enough for 6. If you want to participate, you have to be at least 18 years old.
Wollt ihr auch mal Strohbär werden?
Nee! Nein!
Nicht? Ach, wieso denn nicht?
Warum? Die sind noch klein.
The transformation takes up to 2 hours and each helper has his own wrapping technique. Most of them have been straw bears themselves and therefore know what's important, but you won't find much pity for the young men who have to keep still and carry the burden.
Wie wird man denn so zum Wickler?
Ja, das ist an und für sich nicht.
Wickler kann jeder werden.
Kann jeder werden. Das ist wieder ein langwieriger Prozess. Zuerst wird mit angefasst, mitgeholfen und dann fängt man mal an, Beine zu machen. Und das ist so nach 3-4 Jahren hat man das eigentlich raus, wenn man da regelmäßig bei ist.
Time for a stretch in this straw. Looks worse than it is. Without the so-called breaking of joints, the bears couldn't move at all. Even after the stretch, there's not much wiggle room. Once a bear is all wrapped up, they leave the barn. The next ones are already waiting. But even the finished bears are fussed over, and I'm starting to have some doubts.
I don't know if I want that to happen.
But there's no turning back now.
Well, it's finally time for me to do it for real. I'm going to be a straw bear.
There's time for some last-minute preparations.
Got to close every last gap because I don't want to be full of itchy straw, but I think this is going to be a big problem here. We'll see.
The wrapping always starts at the legs. I presume this is to prevent the bears from running away. Then it goes layer by layer, higher and higher. Soon I'm barely sure where I am. The same goes for the dresses.
Wo bin ich hier?
Am Oberschenkel. Oder, also hinten am Oberschenkel.
Wie weit vom Arsch weg?
Ja, geht noch ein bisschen hoch. Also 10 cm geht noch, glaube ich.
Hast du noch genug Platz, oder? Nicht hochkriegen. Wenn die sich hochkriegen, dann kannst du ja nicht laufen. Oh, das hier so lange Beine hat. Das gibt's ja gar nicht.
Langbein. Ja, jetzt sind wir näher dran.
Ja, das war auch
Wrapped up like this, there's not much I can do myself. No chance of scratching any itch. Right now it's pretty difficult. I've got a lot of stuff in my face. A lot of stuff in my eyes. I think it's hay. Not really sure what's going on. Don't really know where I am. But I'm almost done. Ow! The dressing process is actually somewhat dangerous. Quite a few have fainted when wrapped up too tightly. This is another reason why the straw has to be broken at the joints. The ancient tradition has brought me to my knees. This should give me a little more freedom of movement, but it's hard to stay balanced. As if there wasn't enough straw already, each bear is built up to 5 meters high. A few years ago, the extensions on the heads were not quite so tall. The dressers and straw bears have outdone themselves. The first load is transported away by tractor, a sort of taxi for straw bears.
I hope I don't drop off the tractor, but at least I got a bit of cushioning.
Like a gigantic straw doll, I'm squeezed next to my fellow sufferers. Rarely have I felt so helpless. At the starting point of the parade, we are literally unloaded. Slowly, I'm regretting my decision, but at least there's someone to take care of me.
Ich führe dich heute durch diesen Tag als Bärenführerin. Wenn du was hast, einfach Bescheid sagen.
Ich vertraue dir voll und ganz. Muss ich auch, ich habe keine andere Wahl.
Ja, das ist, wenn dann die Bären praktisch eingewickelt sind und an der Kette sind. Ja, sind sie ausgeliefert.
Dann gehöre ich dir.
Ja.
The tradition dictates that every straw bear is led by a female guide. Miriam is a local, here to lead me by a chain. Good thing too, as I can barely see in this thing. The parade around the village is led by our very own marching band.
It's really, really hot in here, especially the legs get really warm and very exhausting. And we've only just started, so see how long I can manage.
Each of us is now lugging around 40 kilos of straw. Only young men have been dressed up. The oldest is in his late 20s. This is exhausting. At first, I slow down the others a bit, but eventually I get into the swing of things. And just as I've found my groove, I'm supposed to dance. Back in the day, this was an opportunity for the young villagers to get closer to each other, with a safe barrier of straw between them.
Almost done, almost ready. I've never been so excited to take off my costume.
After 2 very long hours, there's a final race. A race to freedom. I can barely take it anymore, and the others feel the same. All of us bears end up in a sweaty heap. Finally, we are cut out of our costumes. Still covered in straw, but what a feeling. Some of the others will do this 10 times in their lifetime. One time was certainly enough for me.
Well, that felt so good, being cut open. Yeah. Oh, free at last. No words, I'm just so happy to be out of that hay.
It does feel quite rewarding after all the effort. Our long day ends at the big bonfire. I'm quite happy to see the straw we were all wrapped in burned to a crisp in a matter of minutes.
Well, that's about as hot as I felt in the costume, but it was a really lovely day and a really great tradition because everyone in the village came together, everyone had a great time, and it feels like it really brings the community in as one.
The end of my toughest task as a Euromaxx reporter. I'm pretty sure it was the last straw in my short-lived bear career.